are three main tropical forest types I'll introduce in this course. The one you're probably more familiar with is the tropical rainforest, otherwise known as tropical broadleaf evergreen forest. As the name suggests, rainforests are always lush and evergreen. They occur at low elevations near the equator, where there's lots of sunlight, temperatures are always warm, and there's always ample rain. The dense plant growth makes for a very shady understory, and trees compete for light. They grow tall and straight towards the canopy whenever another tree falls and opens up a space. Rainforest trees thus have long, columnar stems that don't branch until very high on the trunk. The bark is smooth. Why invest in thick bark when fire isn't really a problem in such a wet environment? Smooth bark also helps trees deter vines. Leaves are large and have long drip tips to help them shed water. This discourages the growth of potentially harmful microbes on the leaf. Most plants rely on animals to pollinate their flowers and disperse their seeds. This means that tropical trees often have big, showy flowers and large, fleshy fruits that support populations of frugivorous birds like toucans and mammals such as monkeys. To cope with high pest pressure, trees have evolved many complex defense compounds and very hard wood to deter insects from eating their leaves and wood. Because rainforests receive so much rain and occupy ancient land surfaces, their soils are highly weathered. Eons of washing by rain has leached the soil and replaced nutrient cations like calcium, potassium, and ammonium with hydrogen, making the soil acidic. To cope with the short supply of nutrients, some rainforest trees hold on to their leaves for a year or more. The trees also have shallow roots that quickly take up nutrients from the main available supply, which is the leaf litter and other fallen debris that rapidly decomposes in the warm, wet environment. Since the soil is inherently infertile and most of the nutrients are housed in the biomass itself, tropical rainforest soils are not well suited for intensive agriculture. Nevertheless, about 50% of tropical rainforests have been cut down worldwide. In mountainous areas of the tropics, rainforest gives way to another type of wet forest known as tropical montane forest or cloud forest. The Andes has the largest extent of montane forest in the world because it's the biggest mountain chain in the tropics. Montane and cloud forests are shorter in stature because growth rates are slower, but also because the frequent cloud cover means a lot of the solar radiation is scattered and diffuse, coming at the plants from all sides. Trees also don't grow as tall on the steep, rocky slopes, as they would be more prone to falling over. Indeed, landslides are the major natural disturbance in montane forests. Epiphytes are extremely abundant. These so-called air plants derive all the moisture they need from the water vapor in the air. The interception of water vapor by montane forests represents an extremely important but often overlooked ecosystem service known as cloud stripping. By capturing water that might otherwise blow away with the clouds, montane forests are responsible for maintaining and regulating water flow in local streams that feed into bigger streams and ultimately supply clean water to millions of people. When montane forests are cleared, stream flow declines and becomes less predictable. Water quality also goes down because the trees are no longer there to prevent erosion of the steep slopes. Unfortunately, because montane areas tend to have good soils and moderate temperatures in which many crops can be grown, about 75% of montane forests have been lost or degraded. Seasonal tropical forests are the last forest type in the tropics that we'll talk about. They occur in tropical lowland areas where there's a pronounced dry season. Like forests in the temperate zone, some or all trees in seasonal tropical forests lose their leaves during the dry season. Seasonal forests have lower growth rates and lower diversity than evergreen tropical forests. Growth and reproduction are more synchronized than in a rainforest. Trees flush out new leaves and disperse their seeds when the rains come, and lose their leaves and flower in the dry season. Consequently, leaf-eating insects like caterpillars emerge when young leaves are abundant in the rainy season, while pollinators like butterflies and hummingbirds are more active when the flowers are out in the dry season. Everything is timed to work together. The drought represents a major abiotic pressure to which species have adapted in interesting ways. Leaf drop is, of course, a major plant adaptation we've already discussed. This pseudo-bombax tree stores water in its trunk, so it can survive the dry season. And cacti are abundant. Cacti and other plants protect the water and nutrients in their tissues by arming themselves with thorns and spines. The ceiba tree's photosynthetic bark helps it obtain energy even when leafless in the dry season. Like in the temperate zone, there's an annual pulse of nutrients in the fallen leaf litter, so soils in seasonal tropical forests are relatively rich. The annual drought also knocks back insect pests, making these regions well suited to agriculture. Seasonally dry tropical forests are the most threatened of the tropical forest types, with over 75% lost. In some areas, like in coastal Ecuador, only 2% of the original cover remains.